I know what you're thinking. Yes, you did read the title right, and I am back with another fragrance haul. If you're interested in seeing the things that I have to share with you, then just keep watching. So before we get into the fragrances, let me quickly introduce myself for those of you who may be new here. My name is Ayesha. I make videos about fragrance, beauty, luxury, and lifestyle. If those are things you're into, please make sure you go ahead and subscribe now. And if you are a returning subscriber, hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Now let's get into the fragrances. So before I actually show you all the fragrances that I have here, I do want to mention that these fragrances were picked up like January, like beginning of January. So when I filmed my last like massive fragrance haul, most of these were already on the way to me, but because that fragrance haul was already so big, I didn't worry about including them. However, since I showed you guys my entire fragrance collection earlier this year, I figured I should go ahead and share these fragrances with you all. Some of you have probably seen some of them just here and there. If you follow me on Instagram, I think I've shown a couple on there. And if you also watch my vlogs, I might have shown some on there. So for those of you who have seen those, like this is nothing new, but I think I do have a couple that I haven't shown anywhere yet. So since I've had these fragrances a few weeks, I have had a chance to wear every single one of these. Not a lot, but I've worn all of them at least one time. So let's get into the haul. So these fragrances will be in no particular order. I'm just randomly pulling them out of my box that I have down here. So the first fragrance that I picked out is from the brand Montal, and this is Honey Oud. Now this fragrance, I've had my eye on for a while, and then Nisha, what is her name on here? Spicy Looks. She talked about this fragrance on her channel, and our tastes are very similar. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. This is a beast. So this to me smells like honey and tobacco and oud, definitely. It actually kind of reminds me of another fragrance that I picked up in my previous haul, and that is Mancera Red Tobacco. They do not smell the same. This one is definitely a little bit more wearable than that one, but they do remind me of each other. So if you like one, then you'll probably like the other one. But I do think this one is more wearable, and maybe, I mean, it's definitely still unisex, but I think more women would probably be able to wear this as opposed to red tobacco. But yeah, this is really delicious smelling. It's one that I keep smelling, even though I haven't had the opportunity to wear it that often. It's one that I keep smelling because it smells so good. So yes, that is Montal Honey Oud. The next fragrance, I know I showed this in a vlog, and I actually picked this one up on Mercari. I found it for a decent price, and I've been interested in it in a while, but just never pulled the trigger on it. But this is from none other than Tom Ford. And this is Soleil Neige. So this fragrance is supposed to be like the winter version of Soleil Blanc. And y'all know I love Soleil Blanc. But to me, I'm not sure that this really smells wintry. It's very pretty. It's definitely floral. And you can definitely smell something like bergamot or lime in this. But there's a coldness to it that I think that's what makes you think of winter when you smell it. There's almost like I don't want to say sourness to it, but kind of. But don't take that in a bad way. When I'm saying sour, I'm talking about like sour, I almost said sour fruit, but I don't mean like rotten fruit, but I mean like sour candy. Like that type of smell to it. But it's actually really intoxicating. I like to smell this. Now I have worn this one time. I wore it this past weekend, but it was actually very hot. I think it was around 80 degrees. And I felt like it didn't last that long. Now, mind you, I went to a playground. So I was out chasing after my kids. Not chasing after them, but you know, I was outside and I was active. And that was like at least an hour being outside. And I kind of felt like it didn't last that long, but it's probably more so due to it being hot. So I am gonna have to play around with this more, but I do love the smell of it. But Soleil Blanc honestly does not have the best lasting power, but because I love the smell of it, I still love that one. I'm kind of thinking this is gonna fall into the same category. But this is just like my first impression. I haven't really worn this enough to give you guys a full review or anything on any of these fragrances. But that's just my first thoughts on it. But it is really beautiful, and you see I keep sniffing this. It's really delicious. not delicious. It's not a gourmand or anything. It's just it's an interesting floral. Like when you first smell it, it kind of smells like, oh, I've smelled this before. But then you keep smelling it and it's like, oh, no, I haven't. This is getting better and better the longer I smell it. So the next fragrance is one that I've never heard anybody mention. That could be a good or a bad thing, I don't know. But it's one that had been on my wish list. This entire brand has been on my wish list because their fragrances sound interesting, but they are kind of expensive. And it is a niche fragrance house, so I never really wanted to pull the trigger, but I found this one for a good deal on fragrancebuy.ca, and I decided to go ahead and try it out. And the fragrance I'm talking about is from the brand Nicolai, and it's called Vanille Tonka. So this fragrance is a vanilla tonka, as the name implies, but there is something to this that almost smells like fresh too. When I thought about vanilla and tonka, I expected this to be a lot heavier. Think like Fève Delicios type tonka, that type of heavy coziness, but it's not. Like you can definitely smell the tonka, but there's something very bright and uplifting about this fragrance as well. And it smells so, so good. This is one that wears very close to the skin. I've only worn it, I think, twice. But it does wear very close to the skin. It's not a beast mode fragrance, but it does smell very good. Can't talk about longevity or anything like that yet because like I said, I've only worn it twice and I really wasn't paying attention to that. And I think one of the times I wore it to bed, so, you know. But it does smell very intoxicating. Not what I was expecting, but I really like it. And I actually think because of that freshness, I can wear this year round, whereas I was expecting this to be like a heavy vanilla tonka and that I will only be relegated to wearing it in the winter. So I'm really happy with this so far. I just need to see like how this actually wears on the skin. I need to get some more wear out of it. So the next fragrance is one that I've wanted for a while, but I was a bit unsure about. So when I found out there was a sale going on these fragrances, I decided to go ahead and pull the trigger and get it before it's no longer available. And this is from Navitus Parfums. This is from the collection they did with Big Beard Business, and this is Eidola. So this is the one that all the ladies seem to love. But the reason I didn't pick this up when I bought the initial ones is because I knew it was a rose fragrance. I'm not the biggest fan of rose, and just looking at the notes, like even though it was done by Francis Kurkdjian, I just didn't think it was really my vibe. And so I was always interested in it, but I didn't want to pull the trigger initially. But I went ahead and pulled it now. And yes, this is a rose fragrance. It's kind of this is definitely not like what people would call like a grandma rose. I don't really like that term, but I feel like when I say that, people know what that means. This is more like a fruity rose. So there's rose here. There may be some peach here. That's what it kind of smells like. But it's sweet. It has a floral sweetness to it, but also a little bit of tartness to it as well. I've seen some people say that this reminds them of Parfums de Marly Delina. I don't know about that. I don't own the regular Delina. I have smelled it before. And I feel like the regular Delina, that rhubarb note just really kind of sets it apart from other rose fragrances. And this doesn't have that, but besides the rhubarb, I guess it would be similar. But yeah, it's very nice. It's just a very pretty scent. So I'm not sure like how I really feel about this one yet. It is very pretty. It's just that I'm not the biggest fan of rose. But I am happy to have it. I'm excited to get some wear out of this spring. It actually kind of reminds me more of Parfums de Marly Cassili. It kind of smells like a mix between Delina and Cassili minus the rhubarb, if that makes sense. But it is very, very pretty. And I can see why all the women love this because it is a really pretty scent. I'm just not like heavy into rose like that. The next fragrance that I have is actually another one that I showed on a vlog, and this is from Diptyque, and it's Eau de Well. And I have the Eau de Toilette version. It does come in an EDP. I smelled them I picked this up at Nordstrom when I was returning something, and I smelled the EDP, and it smelled the same to me as the EDT, so I just went ahead and decided to go for the EDT. And this is a really nice vanilla, but it's more like an herbal, fresh vanilla. This definitely is not like your average vanilla. This is more of a light herbally vanilla that kind of reminds me of a spa. Definitely think this is light enough to wear all year long, and that's kind of what I was looking for. And it's really, really nice. I haven't worn it a lot yet. I am a bit concerned that it's not going to last all day since it's an eau de toilette. But the bottle is small enough that I can stick this in my purse if I need to. And I honestly don't mind touching up my fragrance if I love it that much. So yeah, so far so good on this one, but I can't talk to you about longevity or anything like that. The next one that I have is actually being compared to Eau Dwell, and I can see what people say, but I don't think they're dupes of each other. But the fragrance I'm talking about is actually my very first Louis Vuitton fragrance, and this one is called Contre. I promise I looked it up. I probably still butchered it, but I'm trying, guys. But this fragrance is a vanilla mixed with orange blossom and also some green like herbal notes. Now this one has been on my wish list for a while, but I honestly didn't want to pay the price for it. Every time I go into LV, I smell it, but they never have any samples. So I really have never had a full-on sample of it. I've just like sprayed it on my hands, sprayed it on a little tester card, walked around with it and wanted it. And it's been on my wish list for a while, but finally pulled the trigger on it. And this one is beautiful. Now, this one is definitely not for everybody because the greenness in this vanilla is kind of a lot, especially at first. But the more I noticed that when I wore this, the more that I wore this on my skin, then the vanilla starts to come out more. So it gets sweeter and the orange blossom starts to come out more as well. Now, I know there are a lot of fragrances based around vanilla and orange blossom. To me, this one is different because it's not as sweet. So therefore, I think a man could easily wear this, but it doesn't smell masculine. I think it's perfectly unisex. And I think it's just like a very fresh vanilla. Again, this is one that I can wear year round. I'm not sure about the lasting power on this. I feel like some of the Louis Vuitton fragrances don't really last that long. So I know that's why a lot of people probably don't like them. But I've only worn this like once or twice, so I don't really know yet. The one time I remember wearing this like out and about, it was hot again, like 80 degrees or something like that. So I really don't know. I wasn't really paying that much attention to it, but I do love the smell of this and I'm happy that I finally have it in my collection. So the next fragrance that I have is one that's been on my wish list for a couple months now, but I've never smelled it, and it's kind of expensive. I mean, it is expensive, but there were two people that really made me feel like I needed this. And the first one is Ayesha. I don't remember her full name here on YouTube, but I will link her channel down below. And then the second person is Annalicia. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I think I am, but I will link her down below. She's very sweet. But both of them have raved about this fragrance, and I just finally pulled the trigger on it when I was able to get it for sort of a sale price. So the fragrance I'm talking about is from Atelier Colognes, and this is Santal Carmen. So this is a sandalwood based scent, but it also does have saffron in here. So some people have been comparing this to Baccarat Rouge 540. I don't think it smells like that, but I do get what they're saying, but to me they don't smell alike at all. Now, I did feature this in my Valentine's Day fragrance video, so make sure you check that video out if you're interested. But to me, this is just a smooth, like creamy, like lightweight sandalwood scent that just has something to it that makes it feel very like sensual. I love it. I really, really love this one. If I had to compare it to something, the fragrances that it reminds me of would be Juliette Has a Gun Sunny Side Up, which I also love. And it also sort of reminds me of Soir Exclusive from Navitus Parfums, also part of the Big Beard Business collection. Now, these are not dupes. I'm just saying that if you like those two, you will like this one too. They're very, I don't know, the vibe is the same, but they are not dupes at all, but they do remind me of each other, and I'm loving this lightweight sandalwood right now. So I definitely think that this is light enough that I could wear it year round, and I love this. It's kind of a closer scent, but I'm okay with that. And then when I purchased that, they had a deal going where you got a free 1 ml fragrance. So the fragrance that I picked out is this one, and this is Cafe Tuberose. Right now it's in this leather case, but that's what the label looks like. So this fragrance I haven't actually worn yet. So I did tell a lie. I said I wore everything, but I haven't actually worn this one yet. And this one is like a coffee tuberose scent. I've heard people compare it to, what's it, Montal Intense Cafe. And I can see what they're saying, but I don't think they're dupes. This is more like a chocolatey coffee tuberose scent. It's very pretty when I smell it, but I haven't worn it yet. So I don't really have any other thoughts besides it being really pretty, kind of deep, but not so deep. Like I kind of feel like the chocolate is really coming out in this, and I'm really liking that. So I need to wear this one, but it is beautiful. That's Cafe Tuberosa. The next fragrance that I have was definitely inspired by Miss AI the Great here on YouTube. I'm sure y'all are following her. If you're not, what are you doing? But this is like one of her favorite fragrances. And so because she raves about it so much, I went ahead and picked it up when I found it for a good deal. And this is from Narciso Rodriguez. This is Poudre. Now, I have to admit, I've only worn this one to bed one time. This is actually the newest one that I have. But this is a musk scent, and it's a powdery musk scent. So it's like a powdery floral musk. It's very like calming and comforting. But the only thing, my only hesitation with this, it is very pretty, but I kind of feel like it smells kind of similar to my other musk fragrances that I just picked up. And the two that I'm referring to are, they were both mentioned in my last haul, but it's the Musk by Essential Parfums, and then also similar to Kayali Musk. So it is very pretty. I have only worn it one time, so I'm not, you know, I don't really have my full opinions on it yet, but it is very pretty, and I can see why this would be something that she will always reach for, because it's something that you can wear around your house. Feels cozy and comforting without being like overpowering. Definitely a year-round scent, but I just need to play around with all three of those musky scents that I have and determine if I need all of those. I'm probably gonna do like one of my battle videos on those just because I feel like they are pretty similar. So watch out for that, but I have to play around with it a lot more before I feel comfortable doing that. But yes, this is Narciso Rodriguez Poudre. And then the very last fragrance I have to share with you guys today has been on my wish list for probably a full-on year. And this again was inspired by a YouTuber, and this is definitely 100% inspired by From Abby with Love. Again, she's very sweet. She has a lot of fragrances. Check her out. If you are not already subscribed to her, go check her out. And she is pretty much the only person I've ever heard mention this fragrance. It's been on my wish list for a while, but I've never been able to find it on sale until like now. So I went ahead and picked it up with a 20% off coupon. And the fragrance I'm talking about is from L'Artisan Parfumers, and this is Banana. So this is a beautiful like banana leaf and vanilla fragrance. And I'm very interested in the banana note. I love the way banana smells, like banana scent smell, not actual banana, but like banana candy. I love the smell of that. I don't like bananas, fun fact, but I like any type of banana flavored thing, like banana Laffy Taffy or those little like hard candy bananas that they used to have back in the day from the gumball machines. And to me, that's kind of what this reminds me of. So this fragrance to me smells like that banana candy type smell, mixed with some greenness and mixed with some vanilla. But the vanilla here is more like a lightweight artificial vanilla. That sounds horrible, but I think it's done very well. So it does kind of have that Play-Doh-y smell to it though. So if you don't like that, then this is not for you. But I do really like this so far. I am interested to see how well it's going to wear on my skin, but it does smell really good. And I'm really happy that I finally have it in my collection. I just hope that it wears well. I think this will be perfect for summer. So that was L'Artisan Parfumer Banana. So that's it for my fragrance haul. I'm actually on a no-buy this month, in the month of February. Not only because I don't need to be spending any money, but also because I'm really trying to use my fragrances that I have and get some enjoyment out of them. So I'm only holding myself to February no buy. I do have one fragrance that you guys are going to see in an upcoming video. So when you see it, I didn't break my no buy for it. I'm just now getting around to filming that video. So you'll see that. Stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed the haul. Let me know if you've tried any of the fragrances that I mentioned here today. Leave your comments on them down below so that we all can, you know, hear each other's opinions on them. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.